Hi, in this video we're going to look at the blue belt grading syllabus and the upper body techniques required for this. We have 7 techniques in total to go through. First one will be a reverse knife hand block, so Songkal Dung Maki. We're going to be doing it on the middle section, so Kwunde Songkal Dung Maki. It'll be delivered in L stance. Let's take a look at it. So, when we're delivering it, the initial chamber piece is very similar to An Pamo Maki, where we take the hand up onto the outside. It is above the shoulder, it is on my rear chest line. As we deliver, the hand starts to open, and then my thumb tugging in onto the palm. It ends up with my fingers being shoulder height, with the Songkal Dung being on shoulder line in this position. Let's have a look at it. Side view. The second technique is going to be an upward palm block, and it's going to be done in a rear foot stance, so Dwip Bao Sogi. So it's Dwip Bao Sogi, some Badak Olio Maki. Let's look at the Dwip Bao Sogi to start with, the rear foot stance, because it's the first time we've come across this. We have our feet are shoulder width apart, so the outside of my rear foot to the toes of my front foot is one shoulder width. 15 degrees for my rear foot, whereas my front foot is 25 degrees. The way we can actually position this so we know it's correct is to have the ball of the foot on the front foot in line with the center of my rear foot and the heels both in line. And this will give me my 25 degrees. Also, my heel is lifted around about 2 centimeters up off the floor. The Badak Olio Maki, we deliver this in a sort of a shape of a D. And what happens is we start off with my palm facing downwards around about my chest height. It circles outside of the body line. Then as it starts to come up onto the body line, it then starts coming up in a straight position here. It ends up on a 25 degrees position, the same as my front foot. We cup our hand, keep the thumb to the side because of the fact we're using the palm to do the blocking motion. Let's have a look at it. Sideways view. Our third technique is going to be a Sang Siwo Jurugi, which is a twin vertical punch. With that twin vertical punch, obviously we're going to use both our hands, delivering it from the midpoint. Both hands are going to be shoulder height, they're going to be just outside the shoulder line, palm facing towards me. As I come forwards, they circle down, out, and then start coming into this position. We're looking for the fist to be around about 1 fist apart from each other because it's going to be attacking the cheekbone area here. We have a 45 degree slant here, and we have slightly longer extension of the arms and a greater degree of angle at the elbow joint than we normally would do at a 90 degrees. So we need to stretch forward a little bit there. So let's have a look at the technique. Side view. Our next technique is going to be a twin upset punch, which is a Sang Dwijibo Jurugi. With this technique, from the midpoint of the stance, of the walking stance, we have our palms facing downwards. We are slightly outside the body line. As we deliver the technique and go through the movement, my first quarter of the stance towards the end, my hands start to go backwards, my elbows go backwards. They do not pass past the body. At this moment, they then start to come forwards. Then on the last quarter, they then rotate through so that I'm hitting with my force fist, the jamuk. the positioning of the hands. We need to be looking for it being one fist away from the body here in regards to the elbows, but also one fist forward from the rib cage as well. The jamuks here are going to be on my shoulder line. Now, this will enable us to be able to deliver to two different opponents. So this is for attacking two people into the solar plexus area. This allows us, again, with the elbows slightly outwards, to keep that relaxation, because tension will come if we bring the elbows in. Let's have a look at the technique. Sideways view. As you can see, the hands just a little bit further up, and this one fist away from the rib cage, bring them forwards, allows for that and takes it off the horizontal to the floor. The next technique we're going to look at is going to be a twin X-fist rising block. So Sang, Koicha, Jamuk, Chukyo, Maki. When we deliver this from the middle position, where hands are around about low rib height from this position, all we're looking to do is to lift the hands up so that the cross of the forearms ends up at the center of my forehead so I can look through it. So this is to gather up and meet an attack to the head, a downward attack to the head here. We need to make sure that the leg that is forwards, the hand is in front in this position. It's particularly relevant in this pattern due to the fact that in Jungun, we then need to deliver a Yopdung Jamuk straight afterwards. So from this position, all we need to do is rotate the hands and then deliver the Yopdung Jamuk. Okay, let's take a look at the technique. Side view. Our next technique is going to be a palm pressing block, some Badak Nulyo Maki. With this, we deliver this in slow motion, and we also have it in long stance. Long stance is the same as a walking stance, but it is just 1 foot width longer than the walking stance. The slow motion aspect to this. We need to be clear that it's not about going as slowly as we possibly can, but at some point we start to fall into the stance, and we need to understand when that is. So let's start looking at the motion. So, from a walking stance, what will happen is, as I come to my midpoint, what happens is that my hands will change to this position. So the top hand will come to shoulder height, the bottom hand will come to around about belt height. As I come forwards from the next quarter of the movement, which will be quite slow, the hands then get to a position so they are facing each other. The last quarter, as I come, then I fall into that last quarter piece. What we need to look at here is, for the position of the hands, is the palm of the hand being at solar plexus height. Now we get that by having it, the elbow, one fist in front of our chest, our rib cage here. This is on my shoulder line. My lower hand here, this is going to be on my chest line. It's going to be 15 degrees in at the elbow joint, and there's going to be a slight rotation of my little finger coming upwards in this position here. So this is defending against two people. One, a punch coming into my middle section here with the upper hand, and a kick coming into my low section at 45 degrees here. So let's start looking at that going forwards. Let's look at it on a sideways view. Our last technique is going to be a U-shaped block, which is Dugucha Maki. With this, we're using Bandao Sol, which is this part of the hand between the thumb and the first finger. To deliver this, the chamber is important. As we get to the midpoint, what happens is my front hand, the palm is facing downwards. My upper hand, which will come in, is facing upwards. From here, as I come forwards, in an L stance, what will happen is this will rotate and come through, so it is forehead height. This will be resting onto my pelvic area, but it'll be on this 15 degrees position. But there's also this movement of my hand inward slightly, so that it can catch a pole coming into us, so we can grasp and pull that pole. Now, in this grade, we're actually going to be doing it in a fixed stance. So let's have a look at it in action. Sideways view. Okay, there you go. There you have the Blue Belt syllabus for the grading. Thank you very much.